Welcome everyone. In this session, we are going to practice something with respect to sorting using Python programming. In this particular session, we will be seeing about bubble sort. So, like we will take an example of an array and we will try to sort it, and we will try to go step by step how this program can be done using Python, using loops and using swapping statements, and how to use your swap statements very easily. So like all those things we'll be seeing one by one. So yeah, we can move to the session. So for this example, so there is one visualization portal where we can able to see these kinds of sortings in a visual fashion, so that it will be easy for you to understand. So for this, I am just taking an example 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 elements. So array size I have taken as 7 and layout I have taken as bar. So examples 8, 9, 2, 3, 4, 10, 6. So these are the elements, right? So corresponding elements will be visualized in terms of bars, and we can able to how this sorting is going to happen. That can be explained in a visual fashion. So see here, so we have having a list of elements, so 8, 9, 2, 3, 4, 10 and 6. How each and every step is happening, so we can able to check it one by one. So the first one, 8 and 9 will be compared. So this first zeroth position and first position will be compared, whichever. So first one is sorting using ascending sorting, so that whichever is there as the smallest one, it is going to place the position of first. So 8 and 9, there is no change. So 8 is the smallest number, so it is retained at the 0th position. So next comparison is between 9 and 2. So if you are going to compare 9 and 2, 2 is the lesser number, right? So it has to move to the position of 9, and 9 has to take the position of 2. So the elements has to be swapped. In the previous iteration, no swapping is happening. In this iteration, we are going to swap these two elements in order to arrange these things in ascending order. It is getting swapped, right? So next step, the thing is has to be moving from 9 and 3. So if we are going to compare 9 and 3, which means this 9 and 3 has to be compared. Absolutely 3 is going to be a smaller number, so it has to swap the positions of 9 and 3. So just this swapping is going to happen, and after that it has to move to 9 and 4. So 9 and 4 we are going to compare. So even though 9 and 4 is there, 4 is going to replace the position of 9, so swapped. So 9 and 10, next position we are going to take with 9 and 10. So no swapping is going to happen here, because 9 is the smallest number, so 10 is the biggest number. So absolutely 10 is going to retain in the same position. No swapping is happening. So if it is 10 and 6, now it needs swapping. Yeah, swapping happened. So like this, we are going to compare again and again for every iteration. Like this, we are going to, like if you are having 7 elements, 6 iterations has to happen in this fashion. So in this first iteration, the main key thing you have to note here is like the biggest of all the series numbers is going to take the last position. So in next iteration, so it has to repeat again from the first position, and the 10th position has to be left as such, because 10 is the biggest number. Again and again, we don't have to check all the last elements with 10, right? So we don't need such conditions. So we are just happening to move this one. So 10 is the position and it has to be freezed. So we don't have to do any operation with the 10 hereafter. So after that one, there is an operation between 8 and 2. So 2 is going to be a least number, right? So it has to be swapped. Swapping is happening. So next comparison is between 8 and 3. Again swap is going to happen. So next comparison is between 8 and 4. So again it has to swap. Yeah, it is swapped. And next to comparison is between 8 and 9. At this moment, the swapping will never happen, because 8 is the smallest number. It is already there in ascending order. So the swapping is not happening. And after that 9 and 6, at this time, this swapping is going to happen. So again and again, we can able to check with 10 also, but it's not necessary, because we know that the highest number has been reached the maximum position. Again and again, why need to check? So we can able to reduce the number of iterations so that you can able to still reduce the number of clock cycles, right? So we don't have to check it. So we can able to leave it as such. So the ninth position is also freezed now. So we don't have to do any operations in these two last elements. So remaining elements we have to perform those operations. Like this, again the iteration is going to happen between 2 and 3, it is not going to be swapped. 3 and 4, it is not going to be swapped. 4 and 8, again it is not going to be swapped. But 6 and 8, the swap is going to happen. And after that, 8th position is going to be freezed. So last 3 elements are fixed. Like this, we are going to swap again and again, and we are going to find the highest number, and we are going to perform the sorting operation. If you are going to sort like this, this is called as bubble sorting. Yes. So like this, each and every element is to be assigned at the position in terms of ascending order. We will be seeing for ascending as well as descending, a small programming change we are going to make. If you are going to do for ascending, descending is only a minor change we can able to make it. So we can able to go directly into Python programming. With this basics, I think you can able to understand. So first check these two. If swapping is needed, swap it. Next check these two. If swapping is needed, swap it. Else leave it as such. Like this, we are going to jump one by one, and after that we are going to freeze the last element, and we are going to compare these these elements which is left out, and we are going to, if swapping is needed, we will swap it, else it is not swapped. So the next position is getting freezed. So like this, on every iteration, one element is going to be freezed. That comparison should not happen to reduce the number of clock cycles. Even if you are comparing, it is not going to be a bigger deal. It is going to take a few more iterations for its completion. If you are not going to, if you want to be a good programmer in terms of reducing the number of cycles which is taken by your system, you have to make in such a way that these two last elements should not be taken for your consideration. Yeah, so we will see one by one how we are going to arrive at this bubble sort. So first one, I have given an array and I am going to take it as a list of elements. So clearly understand my word, this is a list. So from that list, so I am just capturing those lists, the same elements I have taken here, whichever I have given here, I am going to take it. I have taken and I am going to check the length of the array. So what is the length of the array? 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if you are going to check, it will be 7 because the first position is not considered as 0. So when you are going to see here, don't confuse it. This is the position is 0, but in terms of your Python programming, if it is an array, so length will be calculated as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So like this, we can able to calculate the length of the array. And after that, what I can able to do. So we know how to, so two iteration has to happen, right? First iteration, this jump is going to happen till the last position. And after that, again, it has to jump back to its initial position. And again, the same operation is going to happen. So how many number of elements are there? That much number of iteration has to be happened there. So with this basic understanding, we can able to move into programming. So all the steps which has been happened, I will try to transform it in terms of programming fashion. So for in I in range of 0, 6, 1. So if he is using for loop, the value will start from 0 and it is going to end at 6, and each and every iteration is going to jump for 1. So if you are going to use like this, so for understanding, I have given it as outer loop. So outer loop, how many times it has to happen? So it has to happen for 0 to 6. So I will check whether my outer loop is having this kind of so my outer loop is having this kind of fashion. So we can able to see outer loop 6, and after that loop 5 is going to happen. Corresponding the elements can also be checked here. So first how much we can able to get it, and the corresponding elements we are going to make it out of it one. So we can able to run this outer loop. We can able to run this outer loop from the position of 6, and we can able to 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Like this, we can able to run this one. Yeah. So little ahead. So we know this loop has to be running from 1 to 6 because we are having 7 elements. But comparison is total 6 comparisons, right? Or last element is going to be neglected. Comparison is between 2 elements. So we have to do that operation only 6 times. Even though 7 elements are there, the operation has to be performed 6 times. So I have taken this array and I have used this for loop. So instead of using 6, I am using len of array, which means I am going to calculate the length of the array. So I know it is 7. So the position should be 6, right? So I have given it as len array minus 1. And after that, the 0 is correspondingly given to here, and after that minus 1 is, so if it is minus 1, it is going to be taken in the reverse order. So 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, like this, we are going to take it in terms of reverse order. Why I am taking this like this, this is convenient for omitting the last position. That's why I am taking this order. So whichever is convenient for you, you can able to take in this order, that order also. Okay, so we are having this array. So we are using this for loop. Range I have fixed, so 6, 0, minus 1. So how many times my inner loop should run, how many times my outer loop should run. So outer loop, so total 6 comparisons, and my inner loop, it has to go for 6 comparisons. So whether I will check whether this 6 comparisons are there. Yes, so this is my outer loop. So first initially 6th iteration is happening, and after that you can able to see how many inner loop iterations are going to happen. So we can able to see 5 elements. From starting from 0, it is going to be the 6 elements. So it starts from 6, first initially 6, and after that 6 inner loops is getting iterated, and after that outer loop coming to the next position. So it is going to be 5. So see here, I am going to check 4 times because the last position is freezed, right? We don't have to disturb that position. That's why I have taken this fashion. So inner loop is going to be executed from 0 to 4. So in next outer loop is going to be 4. At that time the inner loop is going to be happening from 0 to 3. Outer loop 3, it is going to compare for 0 to 2, and 2 it is going to correspondingly give it for 1, and 1 it is going to give it for 0. So like this we can able to omit the last position comparison. That's why I have made a loop like this. So whichever is convenient for you, you can able to use it in terms of for loop. So I am just pushing it little forward. So I am creating an function called as bubble sort. So I am taking that array. So this array is I am going to take this array inside this function, and I am using these 2 print statements and for loops. So I am going to check it is going to compare only those 2 elements. Like this, it is going to compare or not, like whether I can able to check it in that fashion, right? So see here, if I am going to run this one, yes, so it is going to take the 6 and 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, like the same fashion it is going to happen. So it is going to jump into the function and it is going to happen executed. So we know that first we have started with formation of first for loop, outer loop, and after that second inner loop, and after that we have calculated like how we can able to bring it to as a function, and how we can able to call that function. So all these things are happening because this thing is going to be executed, right? So whenever I am going to call this one, this is going to be called and corresponding operations will happen here. So like this I can able to come to a conclusion of this. So okay, I am convenient with that one. So my loops is going to be executed in the similar fashion as I expected. So I have till now I have done in terms of loopings. Next step, so we are going to swap or not swap. Only 2 conditions we are having, right? So we are going to swap it or we are not going to swap it. That's the main concern. If it is comparably first one is smaller and the next one is bigger, means you don't need swap. If the first one is bigger and the next element is smaller, you have to swap it. That's the thing, right? So for 2 for loops I have done it. So there is no need of printing outer loop and inner loop. That's for our understanding, right? So I can able to neglect it. So inside if statement, I can able to use array of j. So clearly understand, it is j. J is the thing which is going to happen in terms of the outer loop. I is for inner loop, outer loop, and j is for inner loop. So array of element of j is greater than array of element of j plus 1. So present initially it starts from the first element, it is going to compare with the next element. So if comparably, if the first element is bigger, it is going to swap, else no operation is needed. Else else statement is not needed here. There is no need of else statement because the swapping is not going to happen, right? So again and again the iteration is going to be repeated. Whenever the first element is bigger, it is going to swap it. So if it is not there, we are not going to swap it. So for our swapping, how we will do in terms of normal C programming, we will allocate a temporary file, and after that a temporary character, and j will be put in here, and after that j plus 1 will be put into j, and after that temp will be moved into j plus 1. But if you are thinking in terms of Python programming, swapping is very easy. So we can able to just do it in single instruction. Just swap x comma y is equal to y comma x. That is a simple logic here. So if you want to swap x comma y is equal to y comma x, just give that statement, x comma y is equal to y comma x. Just the elements will be swapped. There is now no need of temporary variable itself. So like this we can able to sort it, and correspondingly it has to run it. So I can able to use any of this fashion. So if you are convenient in whichever methodology you want to use, you can able to use it. So I have defined a function, and after that I have used two for loops, and I have used a if condition. If corresponding element is bigger, swap it. If it is not bigger, leave it as such. That's our primary objective, right? So I am going to check whether my program is correct. Yes. So 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10. So we got the output. So like this we can able to sort it, and we can able to bring to our initial position. So from this we can able to have few more analysis also in terms of bubble sort. So we are having swapping operation, right? So if you want to understand how many swapping operation is going to happen and how many iterations are going to happen for making this sorting to happen. So if you are having such elements to be noted, so next class we are going to see about selection sort. This is bubble sort, right? Next one is selection sort. If you want to compare bubble sort and selection sort, so only the swapping elements is swapping operation is going to have take more number of cycles. So we have to reduce as much number of swappings as much as less as possible. So that's why I just want to count how many number of swaps are happening in the sorting operation. So what I am doing, so I am introducing a temporary variable of, or a variable called as swap here, and after that here swap is equal to swap plus 1. I am just going to check how many swapping operations is going to happen after successfully completing this if statement. So if I am going to swap like that, so I can able to check it. So outer loop elements, so 8, 9, 2, 3, 4, 10, 6. So these are the outer loop elements first initially I have given, right? So inside the inner loop, so this is going to be executed. So while coming to the inner loop, before swapping, this is a condition. After swapping, this is a condition. So like this I can able to display my outputs. So to check whether this is happening in the exact fashion which I want to do it. So yes, so before swapping and after swapping, how it is happening, and after that in terms of next iteration, before swapping and after swapping. So see here, once the outer loop is getting completed, so the value of 10 is reaching at the highest position. So after that I should not disturb that position itself. So see here, how many swapping operations? How many iterations needed? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So total 7 things are going to happen here. And in terms of inner loop, so how many swapping operations? So this is before and after swapping, right? So it is having different elements. So swapping number 1, swapping number 2, swapping number 3, and swapping number 4. So 4 swapping operations have been performed within this cycle, and within that cycle the 10 has reached the maximum position. So last position is going to be freezed. So next iteration it has to reduce the number of iterations in the inner loop. So 10 is freezed, right? After that there is no comparison between, so there is only comparison between 9 and 6. So there is no comparison for 9 and 10. We know that 10 is bigger. So like this I can able to reduce the number of iterations in terms of inner loops, and I will make it as 0. So how many number of swapping operations is going to happen here? Total 9 swapping operations is going to happen to reach this number of elements in a sorted ascending order fashion. So hope this makes clear. So step by step we have done. So we have calculated the length, and after that we have tried to create for loop, outer loop, and after that we have tried to form an inner loop, and after that we have checked how many times the inner loop is going to run, how many times the outer loop is going to run, and after that I am going to put it in terms of function. I am going to call those elements. After calling those elements, I will try to swap the elements whenever it is needed. So after that I am checking how many swapping operations is there in the total sorting operation. So for this specific order, so input of this specific order, we are having this many number of swapping operations. If the input is in the different order, the swapping elements or the number of swapping operations which is going to happen in the program will vary. So just if you want to do it in terms of descending order, just a single change can able to make it. So what is the change here? Just change the symbol. If you are going to just change the symbol. So if it is smaller, swapping operation is going to happen. If it is bigger, swapping operation will never happen. Just I can able to do it. I can able to run it and show it to you. So it is been started swapped in this particular fashion, and after that it is going to swap in terms of descending order. So what is the least thing is going to reach this maximum position. After that the outer loop. So after that the next least element is going to reach this position. Like this we are going to sort it one by one. So the total number of swapping operations happened for our bubble sort for descending operation of this same set of elements is 12, and we can able to see the descending order. So I hope this is clear. So what we have done, we have sorted the elements using swapping operation with bubble sort. So that's what we have done in today. So we have done with respect to ascending operation as well as descending operation. I hope this is clear. So if you are having any doubts, you can able to please reach me in terms of comment section, and we can able to have a chat over there. Yeah. Thank you.